Hello, dear listeners. Today we are here at Hotel Soprana together with Karlis Vilbers, who is a hospitality expert with 15 years of experience from the very beginning until launching and letting teams go into successful hospitality experience creating for the guests. Hello, Karlis.
Hello, good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Great. So let's start. You have been working in the hospitality sector for 15 years. Can you quickly share your journey? How did you get into hospitality sector?
Yes, it was adventurous time in my life. If we looking back and see how everything has unfolded over these years, uh, it wasn't planned. So I've started as a table cleaner, and then I realized that I like the environment which I'm working in, which at the time was a American branded restaurant, and where I made my way up from the table cleaner up to the general manager. And then after a couple of years of working in a American restaurant in a field, I realized that I'm getting bored. So I needed a more challenge. So I joined the Gaucho group and started to open restaurants with them, support the restaurants across the whole UK. And it was an interesting journey. That's the place where I realized that, oh, I really like this thing to open new businesses from zero to operational. And that brought me into this. And I spent the last 8, 9 years doing that, working in restaurants, opening them when there is a time to open one. And yeah, been spending a lot of time in a field and focusing on training and opening and literally all the operational side and how to optimize the sales and interaction with the guests and everything overall, business overall experience. Let's say that.
Everybody in the industry keeps saying that after COVID times, everything has changed a lot. We also feel the influence of AI in hospitality sector as well. In some cases, it's robots, chefs who are preparing food in Dubai, and you have been traveling all over the world. And can you comment what changes have you seen while traveling and still participating both as a professional as well as someone who has uh, experience as a traveler guest?
The world quite a few times in many countries. The first thing when I think everybody knows that who works in a hospitality field, when they arrive to a new place or a new restaurant, they quickly observe all the details and all the small little things from the professional matter, from the business matter, and then they realize it. Oh my God, I'm on a break, I'm on a holiday, so let me enjoy myself. Let enjoy this food, and that's where the professional part switches off. But yes, talking about IE and our overall hospitality experience after the COVID time, I believe so. People realized after the lockdowns and everything else at all that they realized that face to face and human interaction is irreplaceable factor in hospitality. If your business wants to bring the hospitality to the table, not just plain service where just a transaction happens between a guest and your business. But real hospitality will, I believe so, will never be replaced. It will be optimized by AI and make it faster in a kitchen or on the bar areas or whatever they bring in, or till wise or payment wise. But the hospitality itself, it's human to human business. It's like people interaction, your experience with your waiter, or your conversations, your situational resolvement, your overall experience. And that's why the people go to the restaurant in the first place. They want to be looked after. They want to feel special. It doesn't matter where you go, in Monaco, in London, or in Norway, or in Europe, anywhere. You want to receive that the guest experience, which you're there for. So yeah.
As we have automations, robotization, and a lot of things happening in the industry post-pandemic, especially, it is some changes in the job market as well, because some people have been working as chefs in COVID times. They have shifted and became real estate agents and all kind of different professionals. But did you notice that as we have kind of a progress, right? But is the level of the service in general increasing or decreasing?
I believe so. Once again, this time in all our lives, over across all industries, it tested people individually, and it made them realize into themselves that for some people this is the job they love, and for some people they've been pressurized to switch to a different job roles. This really tested the hospitality industry as a whole. But afterwards, when the restrictions and everything was lifted, I believe so it started to thrive. The more restaurants popped up in my hometown, which I'm from, I'm from Latvia, and everywhere else. Like in London, the new restaurants, the new venues were popping up like mushrooms after the rain, after the COVID. Everybody was appreciating more that actually your time with people to go out for a meal with a family, it's more precious than you used to think before. I think the industry is thriving. I think a lot of industry leaders across the Europe and in the UK, across the world, are adapting some new changes which optimizes their business. But I'm gonna repeat myself once again. Hospitality major stepping stone is people and interaction with people. So yes, we stay to that. But I would say, yeah, after the COVID time, the business is thriving because the people appreciate more each other and the time which they got here and overall. And they are more demanding, I believe so as well. That's value for money.
I think in COVID times, it was also some change of habits in some sectors in restaurants, for example, using food delivery services. People were staying at home, but then they got used to that they can order the food and get delivered at home or to the office and going out not so often. But when they do, they are expecting high quality food, very good service, and some good experience, something different. Do you think that, or from your experience, what is something that restaurants should invest first?
I think restaurants should invest in their people because after this test, like we spoke on our last topic, after this test, what all this global situation brought to this industry overall, it's hard to find good people these days because, like I said, many people has realized that this is not for them. Many people realized, okay, this is for me, and all the good people they stick where they are, and it's very hard to call them over to a new business and most of the times and even more lately you can tell that people don't want to do this job just because of money. People who love this job, who likes this job, they're not going to do it just because of the money. They need a work-life balance, they need a good team, they need a enjoyable environment which they enjoy going to, because in a crappy mood you don't really want to go to the environment you don't enjoy. And that's from my personal experience as well. I always choose where I'm going to work based on how I feel about it, what our surroundings are, what the venue brings, how the team is, and everything else. I always do my homework, and I always go and see the place in a person. And if it's possible, at least interact with one or two or three team members before I make a decision and make a big move. Because my job career is when I join, I I stay with the guys because that's my decision to join them because X, Y, and Z, all these reasons I said before that are really important. People investment is it should be main focus for every single business out there because that what brings value and that what carries the name hospitality.
What as hotel or restaurant owners should consider as motivation for the chefs, for the front staff, the service staff?
I believe so, especially in the Scandinavian countries, everything is optimized to the cashless environment. I had this, which I found it very, very like enjoyable, which makes it easier for me as a manager to close the night, end of the night, or a business or anything else at all, and track everything. I don't have a hold where I need to look for cash. Uh, but I believe so. The still you can't escape from that. The biggest motivation for guys are the numbers, are the wages. And nowadays there is so many apps, so many automatizations, so many like ways to optimize the business. And I would say the tips, it's one of the cornerstones as well, which creates that motivational angle and gives that push for business and the people in a business to thrive. uh, Once again, personal experience. That is one important thing as well for me when I used to be a waiter and a manager and everything else at all. I always used to find out how the policy works before I joined them. Because me personally, if I go there for a season work or for a short period of time, for me, I don't count on my hourly rate. I see because I know I'm good and I know I'm going to bring some value to the business, what a reward I'm going to get for it myself as well. And it's important for good and professional people. That's super important factor. So the main thing I would say is it is the money, it is the tips, I would say, and appreciation. The human factor is very, very important also. Uh, in a teams wise, you can make all the money in the world on a Saturday or Friday night. You can work, run around like a headless chicken for 10, 12, 14 hours in a hospitality, but still, end of the day, you did a good tips, you did a great sales, everything is great. But if you're a leader or if you don't appreciate each other in the team and don't get that appreciation from your business owner or a manager or general manager, that demotivates. So that is also very important to bring that to the table.
I want to jump in here because you mentioned several times the tips, right? And also, what happened is that people started going from cash to electronic. But what still happens whenever you come to some restaurant and you want to leave a tip in some and usually people are so used to paying by card that they don't carry cash with them anymore. And in some places now they do have some app where you can scan the card and leave the tips, or it's whenever you're in a restaurant you can order by scanning the code. You get to the menu, they see your table number, you order, and then you pay and you can leave the tips. What about this tip system? Because I have heard from our candidates that in some cases they're asking if chefs are asking if the tips are shared in the restaurant, because usually it's the waiter who is the first and primary, and it depends a lot on how good the waiter does its job, but as well, the food is important, right? So in some places they are splitting in the tips. In the other places, it's that the waiters earn their extra by the tips. What do you think about this?
Through all my times, which I worked in a different venues, I've seen all kinds of different policies. I've seen the policies which haven't worked so well, and I have seen the policies which actually builds the engagement between the front of house and back of house, and also get management and a host involved, reception, if I say so. And you mentioned one very good factor: people in the front of house and people in the back of house. They need to realize they need each other and they need to work together because one without other, your business is not going to function. And that is a very, it plays a very important role for how everything, all those steps are delivered, from the preparation of the food till the food is steaming, piping hot, and put down on your table in front of you by your waiter or your waitress. It's super important. And talking about the tips policy, I believe so. Every single place should pay attention to this, how to motivate their team. And I normally did team meetings before the new openings, where I find the most optimal way for where the both sides are happy, what percentage they want to split, what they're happy with. And there is many factors which tip depends on your location, on your season, what you exactly what you selling and how you selling it. Where is your biggest revenue coming from? Is it from the bar or is it from the food or snacks or desserts? It's super important for those all aspects to be taken into consideration before making this decision. You can't walk in. I've seen a places where owner comes in and he says it's going to be 50-50, but you can't have a five chefs in a kitchen, two waiters at the front, and you expect 50-50 from it. That's not the way it works, unfortunately. And it's an art. It is an art to find that golden middle way so the both sides are happy. And that needs to be done before the new restaurant like opens and set in a stone. So everybody, all the new team members who comes and joins the team knows where they stand, so there's no unpleasant surprises. And the same with already existing teams. It needs to be reviewed. And if you see that back of house or front of house or someone from your team is not happy about that and it drags on, I would say it needs to be addressed as soon as possible and to go over all together so the solution is found as soon as possible. Because these kind of little things for an owner, oh my God, I don't care about tips. You're going to run my business. People run your business. And for an owner, even if he doesn't think or pay attention to these little things like tips and a team building and rewards and appreciation, it hurts your business in a ways you cannot imagine. And that all can be measurable in actual practice, in a guest reviews, in a turnover, on a P&L reports, on hourly sales. These days everything can be tracked. It used to be way difficult before the COVID, and there used to be a bit way more competition. Now you can track and measure everything, and especially with AI, which is a tool to optimize your business. That's so easy doable, and I would advise that as well. Yeah.
I think it also can differentiate through internal policy, because from some older times it used to be this not a rule, kind of stereotype, but a rule as well, that chefs, they do the job, they get higher salary, but those people who are waiters, waitresses, they are service people who are coming and earning the tips, and usually the salary would be lower, but the owners would be saying that if you are working well, you will get much more tips than you get salary.
Yes, I believe so. This was a factor on my waitressing career as well, where I used to work as a waiter. And as I mentioned before, I always depend on my tips, and my monthly wage was just a bonus. Normally, it's the other way around. The tips are the bonus, and the monthly wage is the main thing. But for me, it was other way around, and that's what I focused on because
Mm.
if I can keep my tips and afterwards reward and split it with my team, with my kitchen team, with my runners, with the bar, I always treated from the personal again experience. I always treated my section when I was a waiter as my small little business. The better I run it, the better relation I have with all the suppliers. And in this case, it was a bar and a kitchen and a food runners. The better my business run, and I guess we're way more happier, way more better feedbacks, and yes, I was at the top, yeah, waitressing field. So that's why this I find this so very enjoyable. This job, this training, because I have something that I can pass it over to people and make their day-to-day life in their work environment more enjoyable and more interesting. Because when you change the perspective and angle why you go and do what you do. It is very interesting, and you get more confidence, more knowledge brings always more enjoyment and satisfaction of what you do when you know why and what are you exactly doing, rather than just I'm just gonna roll with it. So yeah.
When we recruit the teams and some clients, they want to invest as well in training. Some say they just everybody knows what they do, they have experience, so no training is needed. Just gives overall overview of how the restaurant works. This is the kitchen, these are the tables, this is the payment system and so on. But do you believe that a dream team exists, and what is needed to have the dream team instead of group of people working together?
I personally don't believe the sentence "the dream team" because everybody's interpretation of that words "dream team" is completely different. I think one day, if we're going by that, the one day you can have a dream team. 3 hours into the busy Saturday evening service, your dream team is falling apart, and there is no dream team. And nobody talks to each other anymore and tries to get around whatever they can to make it through the night. And so, no, I don't believe so in a dream team.
But I know and I understand that people especially at the end of the shift, if it is a busy season, maybe it's a weekend, right? A lot of guests coming and people get tired. It can be a lot of different crisis situations, some unhappy customer, what else? Burn steak and so on. How to handle this? How to prepare the team for such situations, especially if there is no training before.
That is a key aspect. That team needs to be ready. The more you're gonna train before the war, the less you're gonna bleed in the war. That's what we got a saying about that. I'm pretty sure that many of you have heard that before. It's essential for a team to have a training and to be prepared. Obviously, you can't play through all the possible scenarios in a role plays to handle every single situation. But the more you know, the constant learning of new businesses and preparation or already existing businesses, the constant learning and upgrade of the team and the knowledge brings that confidence hold to hold the line when something goes wrong. It doesn't matter if it's a food or a drink or a service or a waiting list. It's I have seen so many like once in a lifetime like situations where it's even in hospitality. It seems that every day is the same, but it's not because every single guest is different, and sometimes you get some returning guests, and sometimes you get brand new guests every time, and they bring you a brand new situation which you never dealt before. It's always a learning curve, and training and a preparation for service and a knowledge brings that level of confidence. So it doesn't matter if it's a food runner, if it's a bartender, if it's a waiter or manager or supervisor. So they can handle the situation stress free and a peaceful, calmful manner. You can have the lowest, nicest voice tone of an angel, but if your facial expression tells the guest everything they need to know, that you unbothered about his situation, yeah, or a food or it doesn't matter which issue is there, then this problem most likely is going to escalate, and this situation is going to escalate and damage the business in overall. If it's for if the waiter doesn't have a proper training, or a bartender, or it doesn't matter who in a team, if the team doesn't have a proper training and the smallest detail can leave a big impact in a wrong way on a business for them who's working there without the training. It might seem like a small little grain of sand, but when that sand gets into the big business grinder, you you're gonna feel it afterwards, and very, very shortly, most likely. So yeah, training is essential.
Sometimes, there are situations when you come and you want to order something and you ask a waiter or waitress about something, what is this dish, what's in it and so on, and they cannot explain and they say, I have never tried it. I don't know. That's it. Do you think it's part of training? How often should the training be done?
I believe yes, it's a super important part because end of the day, waiters are and bartenders are salespersons. They need to know if you want to sell, you need to know what are you selling. If I walk into the dealership and you cannot tell me what engine is underneath the hood of the car, then I'll be like, I don't I don't even know how to react to that, to be fair. So I can't imagine that kind of situation when a person doesn't know what they are selling. But yes, I have these kind of situations that you mentioned when you walk into the restaurant and person just doesn't know what to say, and it takes up valuable time. It takes up guest time. It makes the guests irritated, even more so if they are in a rush or they on a lunch break. And yes, you need to know what you're selling in a business. And once again, that training plays a crucial part. People that need to realize they need to be brought back to the basics of full understanding why are they doing what they're doing before they can do it.
We are often speaking about new teams when, for example, we recruit absolutely new team for a new season. Maybe one or two people are already there coming back, but the others are new. But and training, then it's different. But what do you do when it's old team who has been working before and the owner is saying, I don't know how to improve things. This is not working. Maybe that's not working. But where do we start?
Where do we start? Do, for example, yes, in this kind of case scenario, for we prepare an assessment to see, to actually find out where is to rectify the situation, where is it coming from, where can it be improved. uh Literally, it's all preparation, and then to find out actually from the actual team to understand where does this all goes wrong, because as many people, as many opinions you're going to get why something works or why something doesn't work, and somebody will always be unhappy or have a different opinion about the things, and that's normal because I firmly believe that every single guest, every single team member in a hotel or restaurant, everyone in any business needs to be approached with a custom approach, because every single one of us are different. Everybody has his strengths and a weaknesses, and you just need to know what are we looking on and how to optimize that and bring the best out of every single person, same as from the guest. That's why again, it's it's super important to know these little things which makes your life, your service, your hospitality easier, so you can read and rectify the situation before it even has happened. You can see and feel what the guest need before he even asks, and that is those little things makes that wow moment for a guest when they come into our business.
I think it's creating this customer or guest journey map, right? And it starts from the small things like parking lot. How do you come, and if you can find the parking, how are you greeted by the first people in the hotel or in the restaurant? All of these things. But how do you measure the things of experience, for example? Guest reviews?
Obviously, the measurement comes later after everything is said and done and experienced. It comes from the reviews mainly, and when the guests are checking out or guests leaving a restaurant. But before they come in, when they come in through your lobby or through your front door, you need to be able to rectify what kind of guest is that. So, for example, if it's a family, they journey to your hotel or to your restaurant most likely has begun 3 days before, when they started to plan and figure it out and decided that they want to go to your venue, to your business, and dine there with their 3 kids. They left the house, they're going to figure it out where they're going to park the car. First impressions and first approach counts. And it's a major, major stone in a whole overall experience. It doesn't matter in a restaurant, in a fast food chain, or in a 5-star luxury hotel and spa. How you approach them, you need to know who's coming through your door. It could be a businesswoman who comes there for a fifth time in a month because it's super convenient. Maybe you should find out why she's coming there for a fifth time in a month. Maybe she comes before because there's some staff member who treats her super nicely and who she has a conversation with. He brings her a glass of wine and they have a little chat and she feels special. These moments matter. So people need to know who's coming through the door. And yes, experience can start as early, soon as they make a decision in online, when they book a table or they book a hotel room. That's where their experience starts, which is related to your business, which you're running, which they're gonna come
And
to.
actually, you can recognize by the types of personality when you know what to look for. If it is in hospitality, in travel sector, for example, some bookings. I have been doing the trainings for a booking team, how to recognize the guests who want to use. For example, somebody might be saying, I want to create the best experience. I have seen you on Instagram, and you know that this kind of person is that of that certain type, and you respond in his or her way. There will be some other people who just come and they want to experience everything, and they are quite independent, and they don't want anything unless they have some questions like, what type of shoes should I get for this Aurora trip or something. So it is very essential to recognize the people from the beginning before they come to the hotel, to the restaurant, or on a trip, and as well when it is in there. So we're talking here not only about the skills like knowing the menu, greeting well, etiquette, but it's also about the mindset. What do you do when you see people who are coming just for the season to earn quick money? And they say, yeah, I will be just working here. Then I go to another country. Then I just, live my life. So it's about the mindset. How do you inspire them to change it and to become better versions, better professionals?
Yeah. So I've been one of those people as well. And most of the time, the business owners should give more credit. And I'm not saying that they don't know what they're doing. I'm saying that what you mentioned is a crucial part to pick a right candidate. Because the question I ask myself, if if I would meet myself, would I hire myself? And answer should be yes every single time. It doesn't matter for what role I'm going for. So, yes. And for seasonal workers, it could be a great gain for a business for that short term if you pick the right candidate. That is, I completely with both hands on. I'm like, yes, it can work, but you need to know what are you looking for. I had some guys, and I am one of those guys who is looking for, oh my God, this is awesome venue, this is awesome menu, this is awesome environment. I'm gonna thrive in it. And me as a business owner, if I can catch that guy that he likes where he is, he knows what he's doing, he's gonna thrive here for X, Y, and Z months, I'm gonna take him without second thoughts because I know I can get 110% out from this person in such a short period of time. And I won't be worrying about that anything goes south because he's super motivated. And if I have those extra tools, which is tips, appreciation, and if he works for me for 3 months and I give him a extraordinary, amazing recommendation or promise him a role next year if he wants to come back, I guarantee you these people will be motivated. Just need to find out what works for which person.
I have noticed that in teams, whenever they know how to recognize certain types of people who are coming to them, either, for example, they are coming from Instagram. Either it's about making a reservation for the booking office. I have done the training how to recognize certain types by email communication, phone communication, which type of people are the ones that need more attention and how to speak their language, because there might be someone who will be asking for more information because they want to have and create some brand new experience, and there will be people who will be asking for the details like how, when, where, and so on, what they need to know. I have noted to myself some time ago, a quote that you said that whenever you're joining projects, whenever you're joining as a team member, you also expect that a person and you yourself are an asset in the organization rather than liability. How do you inspire this in people who are working in your team, or whenever you are training the teams to get ready for your clients?
Yes, so that's a very good question. As I stated before, every single person needs to be approached with a personal approach, and communication is a skill, one of the skills that's really important in hospitality and also in a recruitment and in a training, to spot the right traits of the people, the strong sides which you can bring out and optimize in a business. Some people will be better at communication. Some people will be better at the body language. Some people will be better at smiling and entertaining guests and telling the jokes. Everybody has qualities. It's very important, and it is a skill that you can learn. That pretty much anyone can learn and find out those things, what to look for in a people before hiring them to make them an asset of your business. And it doesn't matter if it's for a season or it's for a long run, and you can always upgrade each individual by specific needs. And obviously you need to take into the consideration, into serious consideration, that people have their own preferences as well, so you cannot forget about what's important to them. If it's recruiting a team, either it's communicating with potential guests, new clients, new business partners. It's overall in a business. The small details makes a big difference.
I think it's a lot about the mindset, right? How we have it from our own experience, the past experience, the people that shaped us when we started our professional journey before. And what key moment or a person has changed your mindset? I know that you have a beautiful story about meeting someone famous that changed your life.
I have a few people in my life that left a big impact on the way I think and the way I approach the things, and I always remember that. And that's going to be my. It is, and it always will be some sort of point of measurement. How I interact with the people, how I view them, and how I approach them. And one of those people were Matthew McConaughey, which I met in New York. He gave me only a few minutes of his time, but his presence in a conversation was a big life changer for me. And the way I view famous people, it gave me a after those few minutes of interference, it gave me a different outlook that I look at how the way how the things can unfold in in very interesting ways. And that's also in a business. It builds a confidence. Um, so
I think you also have written a book after that. Was it the reason or was it an
no,
encouragement?
it was an encouragement as I was in a process to doing so. And then when I started doing it, I didn't have any experience or any knowledge how to do it, or like I did know why I was doing it. But so when you start to do new things, some unexpected things happen. Like for example, this meeting with this guy as well. It was unplanned. Like it was a wow. it was just a wow moment, and that shaped the way I view things as well. And that's not the only person. And after that, I used this skill which I gained a while ago in my professional field as well. When I was a waiter, I met a lot of famous people as well. As I worked in a restaurant which was near a musical arena, which hosted big events, big superstars, wrestlers, musicians, super famous people, and very often they came to dine with us. Even if they sit in a other section, other waiter sections, or in my section, I always knew how to approach them with a confidence and a stress-free attitude, and give them relaxed atmosphere, so they feel as a guest, not as a superstar where I'm attending to get a selfie from, or so basically try like gain a skill where I can where I can make people feel welcome and not put them under unnecessary stress.
I think it's important to surround ourselves with people who are inspiring, encouraging us, who are on the same mission like we are, and help us, or we can help them to go and achieve something more and do something more. And sometimes believing in oneself, right?
Yes,
I think that's
I'm a
human.
that's human. I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter who it is, if it's a Hollywood superstar or a sports person or a waiter or a cleaner or a social worker. It can bring the difference to one another's life, because we all have a different skill sets, different inspirational stories, different energy what we bring to the table and interactions with the people, and also building a conversation around it in a restaurant or in a hotel lobby or in a bar, that we share our experiences. We are like our experiences, and that's our point of measurement. And when we share it, we grow.
Definitely. Thank you for this conversation, and we will see us in the team meeting.
Awesome. See you in the team meeting. Yeah, have a
See
lovely
you.
day. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, dear listeners, and follow, subscribe, and reach out if you have some questions for us. And feel free to write your comments, ideas, or suggestions for next podcast episodes.